My name is Jibesh, a strategist and a real estate professional. I am also a spiritualist and an avid reader, which has motivated me to start this podcast along with my friend Krishna to share with you all discussions from all aspects of life. Here we will talk with entrepreneurs, professionals, motivators, and we'll also discuss about spiritualism, meditation, quantum and metaphysics. So stay tuned guys as we will have tons of awesome conversations to share with you all in bird's eye perspective. Today our guest is Krishna Pandey. He is a real estate professional who has worked as an executive in CBRE, senior executive at Square Years, and currently started a venture named Culture X. Recently, he has written an article named Journey from a Car Maker to a Luxury Brand, The Rise of Ferrari, and today we will discuss about his perspective regarding the same. In May 2020, when the world is in turmoil because of pandemic affecting business, Ferrari, who only makes 10,000 units per year, had its market value soared to $30 billion, rising above the three top US automobile makers, namely General Motors, Ford, and Fiat Chrysler, which was once Ferrari's parent company. The situation in and itself is quite peculiar, which I'm sure many of you would love to know more about. So, without further ado, let's welcome Krishna. So, Krishna, how about before we start, you give our listeners a brief about the history of Ferrari?
Hi Jibesh and hi everyone. So Jibesh, you gave a very brief introduction about Ferrari and you asked me a good question how it all started, how the journey of Ferrari began. So if you talk about the brand itself, it has got its name from the Italian racer whose name was Enzo Ferrari and he was using his Alfa Romeo car in the racing since 1924. And this was, I believe, as I have written in my article also, I have stated this was the year 1929 when Ferrari himself founded his own racing team, which was named as Scuderia Ferrari, and which is basically is based in Italy in modern day today. If we dig further into the history of Ferrari, and if we are very keen to know about how the first car was built, so Ferrari commissioned the engineer Mr. Colombo, and he asked him to build a Ferrari, the first racing car, which was basically Ferrari 125S, and this was the first car which was made by Ferrari in 1945. And further on, the Ferrari, we all know rest is history, how the Ferrari has proceeded.
Well, Krishna, Ferrari has always been known for its cars, but the company has extended its reach quite beautifully, far beyond the small rare-filled worlds of racing fans and supercars. As you have also mentioned about the same in your article, I would like to know more about this from.
Jibesh, as you, I believe, have gone through my article, and I have very well stated how the journey of a car maker to a Lux brand is. I would state the founder when Mr. Sergio Marconi, which was the founder of Ferrari, and he was he was the former CEO of Ferrari, and he talked about, basically he said in one of his interview in 2014 that he thinks that actually the cars are almost incidental to Ferrari. I know it sounds very sacrilegious, and he believes that Ferrari is a truly Lux brand. And the best part of Ferrari, what Mr. Sergio did, he have decided basically to took Ferrari from car maker to Lux brand just to increase the reach, because we like personally, if I would say if I wanted to have a Ferrari, and that is not my cup of tea because it's quite expensive and we all know we can't afford it, and obviously for a racing fanboy and almost the legions of admire, I must say, who are the Ferrari fan, and they wanted something with them, so they established the luxury brand with them, which basically deals with clothing, with coffee mugs, and with the watches, and they have their online portal as well. And the company, basically they are planning to give their 10% within the next decade. So this is the entire shift, and this is how they, slowly and steadily they increase their, the empire, I must say, from car maker to a lux brand.
Very well explained, Krishna. It was quite an eye opener to know how they are actually expanding their business and various strategies they are using, and even how they are actually going into various other businesses like clothing, watching, and using online portals very efficiently, and their brand name to get the prominence and foothold in the industry. Moreover, their plan of contribution of EBIT of 10% is also quite a strategic move, I must say. So, my next question to you would be, since Ferrari has established its brand to such a great prominence and have taken various steps in these few years to keep this position and image, can you give us some glimpse of actions taken by this giant company to achieve this?
As I told you, Ferrari came to a Lux brand, and the steps which they have taken was very, are very, very rare, which basically a car maker, if we see in modern days, the car maker doesn't, take such bold steps. And what Ferrari did and what they are planning to do is, number one step, as I have stated earlier in your question, that they are planning to contribute 10% of their EBITDA within the next decade. So this is one of the steps. But I would rather, not only focus on their contribution part, I would rather focus how they build up the brand so popular, and how this brand became so powerful. There was one instance I would like to quote over here. Mr. Preston Hen, who is the late racing legend, and he was very devoted, collector of Ferrari. And in, I believe, almost like when the Ferrari launched their version of Aperta, Ferrari Aperta, and he was very keen for buying the Aperta, and he paid around million dollars check to the Ferrari CEO, Mr. Sergio. And you know what interesting part of this story is, Mr. Sergio returned his check, and he focused on basically on the part, that we will give this particular car to some segment, to a particular segment of people. And Mr. Hen basically filed a case against Ferrari, and he sued Ferrari. But later on, he got he took his case. He took back his case, and then he brought the car from Honda, Cura NSX, and he already stated that Ferrari, it is better from Ferrari, which is a different story altogether. But yeah, I must say such kind of an action which Ferrari has taken in the past, which has some created a kind of a powerful brand image in the consumer perception. This was not only one case. I would rather probably move ahead with one of the case where I have also stated this in my article, where there was a fashion designer where he took the photograph and he uploaded that photograph in Instagram. So what this photo was all about, he put his shoes over the Ferrari, over the bonnet of the Ferrari, and he posted in the Instagram, where Ferrari filed a case against this fashion designer. Later on, he removed all these images. So all these steps created a where we can say a sentiment where consumer will feel, yeah, this is a powerful brand. And obviously, if I talk about the powerful brand, there was this brand valuation firm where they stated that Ferrari is one of the most powerful brand than Rolex and Hermes. Not only these guys, if you talk about the information technology and entertainment name, there are Disney and Google also, where Ferrari is most powerful brand than this. Even this ubiquitous products like Coca-Cola also. The Ferrari has come up with very, very powerful brand image, and they have created their persona in such a way where their brand image is glorifying everywhere.
Well, Krishna, Ferrari has also entered in the hybrid section, where it was seen that in 2019 they had unveiled a record of 65 new models, among which one was a plug-in hybrid car.
Yeah, see, hybrid segment, which I say today, if we see most of the automobile are coming into the hybrid segment. Even if you talk about the Indian automobile industry, we see the Marutis are launching up their semi-hybrid cars like the Ciaz, which has, came up with the smart hybrid. I'm forgetting the name of the engine, but, all these small brands are also, coming up. Small brand in comparison with Ferrari, all these also are coming up with the hybrid. And if we see down the line 5 to 6 years, if we have recently also seen like BS4 standard have been upgraded to BS6 standard. So obviously there are pollution norms which will be, tightening if we move ahead down the line in the year 4 to 5 years. Right. So all this will strengthen up the eco-friendly relation between the automobile and the pollution. So obviously the brands are looking for coming up with the hybrid, and Ferrari is nevertheless, we must say, the Ferrari also have taken this step and they introduced the hybrid section into their lot.
Last but not the least, let's talk about how the company is sustaining itself and its profit margins and the actions taken by them in 2020, making them stick to the two-word luxury brand and a high-end one where people believe that Ferrari's brand prominence is unshakable even in times of turmoil.
See, if you talk about, if I get your question, if I understand your question very correctly, then I must say you are talking about the COVID situation, how they are, surviving and maintaining the sustainability of their brand right now, right?
Right.
Okay. So giving you a just quoting the figures, facts and figures, which I have already stated in my article, where it has said that Ferrari, doesn't hurt its margin much. When if you talk about Ferrari and if you talk about the average margin what it used to make on its each car, it is around $80,000. This what I am talking about, the profit margin which a Ferrari makes on its each car. If you compare this $80,000 on each car, and if you see the Lux brand like Mercedes, Benz, BMW and Porsche, if you combine all these three now, then also we don't see such big profit margin, which is a whooping profit margin which a car companies make. So even if the Ferrari is selling its one car, so I must say they are, they are very capable enough to sustain the COVID pandemic. It's comparatively, if you talk in terms of the percentage over here, the mostly automobiles make around 5% of the margin, but if you talk about particularly Ferrari, it is making around 24% of the margin, which is a big number, I believe. So these are the ways which are not hampering the you can say the sustainability or maybe the business model of the Ferrari in the COVID situation also. And one more thing I would like to quote, since we all know it is a powerful brand, I have missed somewhere, I must quote it now since we are having a conversation. If we book, like let's give you an example, like if you want a Ferrari for yourself, so you book it right now in 2020, then you are going to get the Ferrari in 2025. And see the span, 5 years for one car. And if you compare this thing with the other automobiles, I believe you can see the span. We used to get hardly the booking, the average booking slot for the car is 6 to most probably 1 year. After 1 year, we used to get the car. But this is the 5 years and people are waiting for their cars. The who are Ferrari lovers, they want this brand into their house and they will wait. So I don't think the COVID and maybe such short-term crisis will hamper the business model of the Ferrari.
Well, thank you, Krishna, for giving us such a wonderful and holistic idea about how Ferrari had established themselves into such a prominent luxury brand, shaking the world of automobile as a luxury giant. Now, to all the listeners, I hope you all liked our first episode. It would be awesome if you could comment and share with us your expectations for our next episode. By the way, guys, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Looking forward to bringing to you all more awesome discussions next week. Till then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Goodbye.